Hello, everyone, and welcome to the last day, to the third day of our webinar series on mental health for early years children. It's great to be back here again. And I can only imagine how it has been for you, because for me, it has been amazing. I have just reflected on the conversations we've been having, and it's been a wealth of information for me, and I want to believe it's the same for you out there. So let's see, who do we have live here? Who do we have joining us? If you're joining us live, please have a comment in, say a quick hello, tell us where you're joining us from, tell us your name, just say a quick hello. It's great to have you here. Okay. Okay, right. I see we're being joined by one person, two. Fantastic. It's good to have you here. Please tell us where you're joining us from. Tell us your name and just say a quick hello in the comment section, and we'll be very glad to read them out right now. Okay. I have just been thinking about the conversations we've been having, and trying to practice, some of the concepts we've discussed today, like mindfulness, like, paying more attention, to the children. And it's been great, I must say. And so today I will be talking about the place of relationships in children's mental health, in early childhood mental health. So please leave a comment here, give a quick hello, and then we're going to go right to our conversation. Today I have a surprise. So it's not just me here today. Our guests from the previous days, from day 1 and day 2, have kindly accepted to come in today to say a quick hello and just to connect with you. If you weren't here on the first day and on the second day, they're going to give a brief summary of everything we've been discussing so far. So I'm going to bring on our first speaker, Miss Sneha Kukreja. Hi, Sneha.
Hi.
It's
Hi.
great to have you here again.
Good to be here again, too.
It was an amazing first day that we had, and thank you so much for coming. Thank you
Thank you for
so
having me
much.
here.
And we have Kay here with us. Hi, Kay, welcome, and thank you for joining us again. It was an amazing session we had yesterday. So the first day, Sneha spoke to us about early childhood mental health, and it was a wonderful session. And thank you for being there, Kay. And yesterday, Kay, you spoke on mindfulness in early years. It was also an amazing practical session. We got our hands busy and got our minds, and all the exercises. It was wonderful. So thank you again. Thank you for joining us here today. All right. So, for those of you joining us right now, please, can you drop a quick hello in the comment section? Say hello, tell us your name, and tell us where you're joining from. It's great to have you all here today. All right. So I'm not going to waste your time because I know you have so much to do, Miss Sneha and Kay. I know you're such busy people, but thank you so much for making it here today. I'm just gonna go straight to Sneha or Miss K. If you want to go first, I'm fine. I think we should just start from K because that was where we ended yesterday, and we'll take it from there. Yes. Okay. So if you could just summarize and just let our viewers, maybe there's some people here who weren't there yesterday, and just give us a brief summary on mindfulness for children in the early years and how it connects to mental health.
Sure. And again, great to be here. Good to see you both again. And really, just to summarise on yesterday's talk, about the importance of giving our children time and space and to slow down their busy schedules, but also for us to self-reflect on ourselves and to make sure we give ourselves time. I touched a little bit on that yesterday about making sure that we take moments for ourselves to reconnect and bring ourselves back to some kind of checking in our minds, checking our bodies, because we need to have that energy and that source to be able to nurture our children along their journey, so we can both take that journey together in a healthy physical and mental approach. So really, mindfulness for me is a journey. It's a life journey, obviously, as I spoke about yesterday, and I think it's really great that people are really embracing the importance of our children's mental health in early years now, and I'm super excited about being a part of that concept, and excited that other people are realizing how important mindfulness and yoga and making those times in our day, and it doesn't have to be a long time, it can be minutes, a couple of minutes, or you can extend it, once you get confident, once you practice, you can extend into beautiful affirmations, longer mindful moments with visualization. So there's a whole world out there for us to tap into, but just for now, let's get our breath, let's get our focus, let's calm our bodies and minds and celebrate ourselves.
I think for me, thank you. For me, one of the things I took home with me yesterday, was that concept that mindfulness can happen just anywhere, and it doesn't necessarily have to be in a prepared spot, where you've sat down. You have a mat out. It could just be in your car. It could be while you're walking out, and that was a good one for me, because of course, preconceived ideas before, I thought I just need to have a mat and have my yoga mat out, and I'm just like, all the time. So that was really good, and so it's prompted me to go back and do more research, and I think everyone should do the same thing, because, like you said, there's lots of resources out there. So thank you very, very much. Thank you. I think we'll just have Sneha say. Yes.
Can I say one more thing before I need to leave right now?
Yes, sure.
Neha, enjoy the rest of the show, and I'll look forward to checking in on what you have to say later.
Yeah.
And I just want to say peace in your heart, in your mind, peace in your words, peace in your heart, from my heart to your heart.
Yours. Okay, so we did that yesterday, and it was really amazing. So thank you so much, Kay, and thank you for being here. And it's gonna be a goodbye to you for now. Thank you. Bye. Okay, Sneha.
Hi.
Thank you. All right, for being here, and for coming again. And if you could just give like a brief summary of what you spoke about for our audience who weren't here the first day, and I think it'll be lovely for them to hear from you as well.
Of course. So we spoke about the importance of mental health and its awareness, what mental health looks like in adults, and also mainly what mental health looks like in children. Because it's easy to see it's easy for us to think that, can children really have a mental illness, or can children really be affected by mental health issues? And so that's something that we spoke about, and that's what I want to bring back here to the present, to everyone's awareness, that mental health really includes, what mental health looks like is that includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. So when our emotions that we go through in our daily life, such as anxiety, anger, worry, stress, or any other emotions, when they become persistent over a period of time, they actually can and haven't been taken care of, and it interferes in a person's ability to function daily, it can become or turn into a mental illness. So that's something that I brought into attention. But children also have a mental health issues, or mental health problems. They can develop that over time if care is not given at home. So the environment in the home is very important, and the parental relationship with each other can also cause stressors. And most importantly, we need to bring to attention is that when child is born, the child has two needs. One is need for attention. One is need for attachment, and one is need for authenticity. So there are two needs: attachment and authenticity. And these two needs need to be taken care of in a child. Every child needs love. Every child needs contact, connection, without which a child cannot survive. That's very important for a caregiver or parent to give to a child, to provide to a child in the house. And also authentic emotion. So these are the things we spoke about, and we spoke about how the stressors in the house, which are also caused by pandemic, have been affecting a child's mental health at the same time, and something that we really need to bring to attention, and also the telltale signs of our child is really affected by mental health. How can we tell that child's really affected? So if the child's not being their usual self, if the child's going into their shell, if the child is throwing tantrums, anything can be a telltale sign. If a child is not enjoying their activities as usual, or turn into a mental. So anything could be a telltale sign that is seemingly unusual. And if you see any signs, that even most subtle signs in a child, you feel you're worried about your child's mental health, you need to first check in with yourself as a parent, as a caregiver, how your mental health is at the moment. Are you extremely stressed? Am I extremely stressed as a parent, as a caregiver? Because our stressors can also affect our child. So that's also something I wanted to bring to mind today to everyone's attention as well. I hope that answers.
Yeah, I think you've basically summarized everything that we've been talking about, and you mentioned two things, and I think it's something that everyone should take home today. Is the basic things is the basic needs of the child, the need for authenticity, and the first one, can you remind me again? For the need for attachment. Attachment, yes. And that is particularly, I think, what I'm going to be talking about today, where the child's need for attachment, and the need for relationships, and how that weaves in nicely into the child being able to meet that need for authenticity. Because I think everything we do, we're social beings, and we all need relationships. And I think the very fabrics of our lives and our existence, is relationships. So we cannot do anything without relationships. So a child born into this world is born into a family, with parents, father, mother, siblings, and that's how the child gets to understand his or her world. So these are very important concept that you've mentioned. And for a child to be able to have good mental health, it's important that these two aspects, the need for attachment and the need for authenticity, are met. So thank you so much. You did great, and the feedback has been amazing. For those of you who are joining us right now, thank you so much for coming on board. Thank you. We can see Bukola Holloway, who's joining us from YouTube. Thank you so much. Miss Kanchana is here again today. She was amazing. She gave an amazing comment yesterday on mindfulness, and so thank you so much for being here with us again today. We have Imo watching. Imo is my sister, by the way, and she's watching us here. Can you just say a quick hello and tell us where you're watching from? Tell us where you're joining us. We have Peter. I believe Peter, tell us where you're watching us from and let us know. We have Oyime joining us here, and he says, thank you. Thank you everyone for coming on board. I am really happy to have you here, and I hope you stay on because we have great substance packed for you today. So if you've been here from the first day until today, I would just like you to just type in a little feedback on how it has been for you. Let us know how this session has helped you. Let us know what's your take home. What has it been for you? And if you weren't here, you haven't missed a thing, because you can still go back and you can watch the replay and you can leave your comments and your questions. And the amazing thing is we can still get right back to you. So please watch the replay. I'm going to post the link of the replay in the description box after now, and you can always go back and watch the replay. It's been an amazing conversation we've had with Sneha and with Kay. So please don't miss out on it. But stay tuned as I take us on a journey on relationships with children in the early years and how this affects their mental health. All right, so thank you, Sneha. Sneha has to run off right now, but thank you so much for coming on board and so that our guests can see you and put a face to the name, for those who weren't here on the first day. So thank you again for joining us, and I'm sure we'll catch up again soon.
For sure. Thank you for hosting us and for having this available for everyone. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And
nice meeting you all. Nice meeting you.
Bye. Bye then. Yeah. Okay, everyone. All right, so you have me here to deal with. Today is going to be an amazing session. Let me just say my quick hellos. Hello, everyone, for joining us. Thank you. Who's joining us again? Nana is here. Oh, she says it has been very informative and it's been interesting. And she watched the replay for yesterday and she says thumbs up. And we have the sessions has been amazing. And that's from Esther. She's saying the sessions have been amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us today. All right. And we're going to go get right to it because there's a lot that we need to cover. However, I'm going to tailor this conversation. I'm calling it a conversation because we're all going to be involved. Okay, so thank you everyone for joining us. Please send in your comments and your questions as we go on, because towards the end, I will answer those questions and I will respond to those comments as well. Okay, so let's talk about relationships. The place of relationships in children's mental health. As Sneha had talked to us on the first day, she talked about mental health being that state where children are calm, where children are able to come in contact with their core. And I'm combining the conversations from Kay and from Sneha. And it's a place, having good mental health for children is a place where the child is able to connect to himself. The child is able to maintain calmness, is able to self-regulate in different aspects, is able to understand and validate their feelings and their emotions, not necessarily blocking it out, but being able to identify with those emotions, being able to identify with those feelings, and being able to manage themselves in such a way that those experiences, those feelings do not end up causing them more harm in the future. Now, going on relationships, although relationships, basically, like I said earlier, it forms the basic fabric of our lives as human beings. So, it's kind of surprising, to see that we kind of forget sometimes how crucial and how important these connections, these relationships influence every other aspect of our lives. how it influences our physical, our mental, our emotional health and well-being. So if you're a parent out there, or a caregiver, or someone, or anyone who has anything to do with children, who works with children in their early years, it's important to know that the majority of the external experiences that children have, it's all in the context of relationships. And it's important that we throw light on this, so that we know how we relate with them in such a way that we can cater for their mental health and well-being. So I would like to just engage you at this moment and ask you a couple of questions, and please have your comments come in. What are in what ways do children what kind of relationships do children in their early years have? What kind of relationships do they form? I'll give you an example. For example, a child born into a home. So there's a relationship, there's a parent-child relationship. Is there any limit to the relationship that children have? So if you're watching us right now, please send in your comments. I'm going to be looking here, and somehow I have to look here on my phone just to see some comments. So please bear with me. But can you send in your comments the relationships that children have growing on, young children? So we're talking particularly about children in their early years, children between the ages of birth to 7-8 years. I mentioned parent-child relationships, and I also mentioned, so I'm also mentioning sibling relationships. I'm mentioning parent-to-parent relationship, carers. So some of our children are in caregiving settings, they're in childcare settings. The relationship with their teachers, relationship with their peers, relationship with neighbors. I'm getting at somewhere here, because I want to bring out the fact that relationship that children have is not limited in any way, so they can actually relate with just anybody. So it could be when they go out to the mall, when they go out to play on the playground, when they are at home, you have guests come in. So all these form the fabric of relationship for children as they grow. So it's important to note here, I want to bring out here that the value of relationship is hinged not in the magnitude or the variety of relationship that children have, but in the quality of relationships that they have. Okay, all right. So I'm just going to look at a few comments that I have coming in. And so I have someone, okay, yes, I have someone here who said neighbors. Someone is coming in, is saying neighbors, friends. Thank you so much for commenting, and thank you, because I just want to bring out the point that the extent to which children relate with people is not limited. However, the important thing to note here is the quality of relationships that the children form. And that brings us back to one of the things that our specialists talked about, attachment. I will not go into the nitty-gritty of, attached styles of the different kinds of attachment. But what I'm going to bring out here is that what we want to see is a secure attachment, the attachment where the child feels safe. So now I'm going to talk about the quality of relationships. Now, I'm not encouraging loneliness or isolation, okay? When I say that we're looking at the variety, we're not looking at the variety, we're not looking at the number or the magnitude of relationships, we're looking at the quality. It's equally important. However, I'm encouraging us to look at the state. I'd like to look here to see, let's be aware that there's something like poor quality relationship and there's something like good quality relationship. Now, poor quality relationship can be more toxic or worse for our children for their mental health than even being alone. So this is not baseless talk, okay? So I've done my research, and there was a finding here. Let me look at the report in a publication in the Mental Health Journal this year that said it carried 86.7% of people reported that they had someone, a close person that they could relate with, a close person that they could talk to when they were experiencing moments of stress. So this is data. This is not just hearsay, or I'm just speaking from my head. So if 86.7% of people say that when they experience stress, when they experience problems, they have someone to talk to, that indicates the importance of relationships with regards to mental health. Then how much more children? And I wonder, how about the 13.3% left? Who do those people have relationships that they can, people that they relate to, that they can confide in and talk to? So just a quick, let's do a quick exercise right now. If you're still here with me, I would ask yourself, okay, for my child, okay, what's my child facing? Does my child have someone that they can talk to? I'm asking myself the same question. Okay, I ask. So you can do the same thing and ask yourself, if my child had a need or had anything, is there anyone that you think he or she can talk to? I'd like you to answer the question for yourself, and then afterwards, it would be nice for you to ask your child, and you can cross reference that with your own answer to see how well you know your child. So if your child had a need or anything at all that was bothering him or her, is there anyone that you think he or she would definitely speak to, and you know this for sure? Who is that person? If you can ask yourself, who is that person? It could be you, it could be anyone, but the important thing is that you know that your child has that secure base. Your child has somebody that he or she can confide in and talk to. Now, I'm talking about, now let me bring it down to the early years. It's as much as, a child is upset and he or she can run to you instead of, staying in a corner and crying, and so is there anyone that your little one can talk to when you're there or when you're not there? So this is something you need to ask yourself, and if you have answers for yourself, fantastic. Go ahead and ask your child as well. You could also ask it yourself, what has been the most traumatic experience or moment for your child, and how has he or she been able to handle it? Has your child had any experience at all that for you, you think it's traumatic? Ask yourself that question. And then it would do you good to ask your child as well, and see, just that way you can validate your answer and see how well you know your child, or how does he or she feel about it, or how did he or she feel about it then? How does he or she feel about it now? Are they able to talk about the experiences? So when they come back from school, are they able to tell you, for example, I was bullied by someone, or someone took my snack, are they able to talk to you? Or would they rather not? So these are questions that I'm posing so that you ask yourself those questions. And how do they react when you bring up maybe memories of traumatic experiences? How do they react when you bring those up? So ask yourself these questions, and let's see how it goes. And feel free to reach out to any of our speakers, okay, if you feel that you need help in any of these areas. I'm sure we're there to help you. All right, so we're having comments come in, and thank you so much for being here. If you're just joining us, I can see that we have more people joining in. Thank you so much for being here. It's amazing that we can all get together to talk about mental health issues in children, in early years children. I am sure that going forward, you know, we are able to address these needs and able to intervene early, just so that going into their teenage years and into adulthood, we're sure that we have our children in the best mental state possible. All right. So I've talked about having traumatic moments. I've talked about how you can assess yourself and see what's the relationship you have with your child. Now, let's take it away from you. Is there any family member that your child is securely attached to when you're not there? And how is your child able to express themselves? Because if they're able to express themselves well, you're sure that they're not having bottled up feelings that will result in later mental health issues like depression. There's a lot, you know, that can happen with children if they're unable to express themselves. So, like I said earlier, we're not going to be going into the nitty-gritty of, you know, attachment styles and all of that. However, what you want to see as a parent, what you want to see as a caregiver, is that your child feels safe, that your child feels secure, and your child is able to identify with his or her feelings and emotions in such a way that they can come to terms with what they're feeling, they can self-regulate. Okay, so have your questions come in, have your comments come in. I'm having comments coming from Nana, and I'm going to be reading your comments and your questions as we go on. So Nana is saying here that our early years curriculum framework, referred to as the ISER and the quality framework, Sayulita is big on importance of relationships in relation to learning, among many other things. Relationships are the very heart of early learning and development. Yes, Nana, I totally agree with you. It's at the heart. Like, there's nothing, as children grow, the framework of their very being is molded by the relationships that they have. So if a child is in an environment where he or she experiences neglect, you know, he or she is not taken care of, they don't feel secure, they don't feel respected, that child will have issues, you know, that could lead to mental health issues as he or she grows. She's also saying here, children can feel, if they're respected, I just talked about respect, if they're respected enough to feel a sense of ownership within their environment based on the quality of their relationships with the people in their lives. And I want to state here, thank you so much, Nana, for that comment. I want to state here that it's important that you know who your children relate with, how they relate with them, what is the content of that relationship, what are they learning from the different relationships that they have. So when they go outside to play, it's important. When they're indoors, who are the people living with you in your house? How do they relate to you as a parent? How do they relate to their teachers? When you're not there, do they have someone that they can confide in? When you're not there, how are they faring? You know, so it's really important. Thank you so much, Nana, for this comment. I also have people giving comments here. I'm going to kind of leave the questions to later. I want to talk a little bit about nurturing, how you as a parent can, or as a caregiver, can nurture your child's mental health. Now, it's important that we mentioned that it's important that children have strong relationships with family and friends. Now, how do you do this? By spending time together, quality time. So spending time, not that you're with your child and of course you're on your phone, your attention is not on your child, you're doing something else, but then you feel you're with your child. It's about listening to your child. It's about giving your child attention. Now, a child who is consistently fed with good quality relationship is able to develop resilience. And this is a life skill. This is a skill needed for life. Now, the person, be it parents or any family member, this is someone who spends a lot of time with the child, and the child knows that they can turn to him or her for help anytime. And it's consistent help. Okay, so when the child knows that every time I go here, every time I go to this person, I will get the help that I need. Another thing I want to say about helping children to have a good to have the good quality relationship with children is helping them to be able to solve problems. So help to develop their problem solving skills. Now, how do you do this? You do this by giving them opportunities to be themselves. When the need arises, allow them have control of their environment, have control of their of their space, of their play. This helps them to develop good self-esteem. I think I have a video on YouTube that talks about how you can raise positive attitudes and resilience in children. Show them lots of love and acceptance. Validate their ideas. So when they come to you with ideas, let them know you appreciate the fact that they're thinking, and the fact that they're engaged, and they're trying out something on their own. Praise them when they do well. Recognize their efforts, as well as what they can achieve. So ask questions also about the activities, and listen. I think it's also about listening to them. That way you can guide them towards achieving the goals that they set for themselves. Not necessarily the ones you set for them, but the goals that they set for themselves. And you can even extend and scaffold their learning by helping them achieve more, even beyond the goals that they've set for themselves. Okay. All right, so I know I could go on and on and on this, but please let me know how we're doing so far. If you're getting value from this, which I believe you are, please just type it there in the comment section. Value, 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 value. I want your feedback as we go on. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're just joining us, if you're just coming on, we have been talking about the place of relationships in early childhood mental health. So let's have your comments come in. Thank you. Thank you. Kanchana said scaffolding instead of instructing. Thank you so much. And Nana is saying, oh wow, okay. So Nana is saying Bronfenbrenner's ecological systems theory emphasizes the effects of how a child grows and develops based on the effects that trickle down the layers of society. Kanchana says she's getting great value. Thank you so much. Thank you for responding with your comments. Now, I want to talk about I just want to highlight, how do you know if your child has a mental health problem? If you're out there still watching, what do you think you would see in your child that would set you off and say, oh, get you thinking, I need to look deeper into this. Now remember that all children are different. And if you're concerned that your child may have a problem, then you need to look to see what changes there are. Are there any changes to how the child usually behaves or usually feels around certain situations? And that way, because mental health problems can actually lead to physical changes. These are all connected. So ask yourself, check with him in school and with friends, how are they doing? And that way you'll be able to identify to see what changes your child is experiencing and how you can help him or her. So some of these changes can be changes in thoughts, how the child thinks. So probably your child, is always positive on certain issues, and all of a sudden begins to become negative about certain things about themselves, or blaming themselves, blaming themselves excessively for something that's beyond their control. You may want to stand back. You may want to watch. You may want to ask questions or observe. Another thing could be changes in performance, in school performance. I talked about frequent negative thoughts and concentrating. Another thing you could look out for is changes, trouble when the child has trouble concentrating, in activities, changes in feelings, reactions of feelings that seem bigger than the situation. So sometimes they overreact. And you might need to step back and say, why is the child overreacting? What's he or she experiencing that's, causing this overreaction? And seeming very unhappy, even in a situation that should bring him or her great joy, or feeling helpless and feeling rejected. They give you these cues in their words, in their behavior, and these are cues that you can see to know that your child may be experiencing some challenges mentally, and that should cause you to seek help. I'm having more comments coming in. Withdrawal from others. Thank you, Kanchana. Like I said, this is going to be a very interactive session, and thank you everyone for your comments so far. Yes, withdrawal from others. Kanchana is saying withdrawal from others, and she's also saying tantrums. Nana is saying here, I know this is not a lecture, Ifyok, but we also need to be mindful of external factors that can affect our relationships with children during their early years. I love these sessions. Well done. Thank you, Nana, for bringing this up. Now, I think everything we've been talking about so far has been pointing to the fact that the things that children face, relationship that children have, affect the way they turn out mentally. Now, there are also experiences that are beyond our control. Yesterday, I think we talked about economical contingencies, like what we're facing right now with COVID-19. And there may be also external experiences that they face on a day-to-day basis. Okay, let me take, for example, the relationship between parents. Now, if there's a feud between parents, it's definitely going to affect that child's mental health. The way the child sees life. The child may just see life from the standpoint of, problems, of aggression. And, so all these experiences help to form how a child will turn out mentally. So if you're watching, let's be mindful of what vibes we're giving out there for our children to see, because all this will translate to how the child sees life and how the child engages with life. So thank you so much, everyone. Yes, it's not a lecture, and that's why I mentioned earlier on that it's going to be an interactive session. I want to touch down a little bit on schools and teacher-student relationship and how positive support from practitioners can help children's mental health. Sometimes the basic, or let me say, children experience close relationships with their teachers even more than they experience it with their parents, because parents are busy working from morning till night, and when they come back, they want to rest, or they're busy with one other thing or the other. And in school, children feel like this teacher gives me all the attention, the teacher is there for me. It's important as a caregiver that you are aware of the relationships that the child has beyond the classroom, outside of the classroom. That way you can cater for the child in the classroom. These relationships are the building blocks for how children will turn out as they grow. Okay, so it's been a great session. One of the things I want to say is with regards to having relationship with children, parents and caregivers, we need to understand the importance or recognize the importance of good relationships. That way, we will find new ways of developing and maintaining strong relationships or strong social connections with the children and interactions that will ultimately affect and lead to the total well-being of the child, of the adult, and the society at large. So if you're out there and you're still watching, let's pay attention to the relationship. Let's start with ourselves and the relationships we have with our children and the children we care for. So thank you. Well, okay, Nana says my break is over. I will watch the replay. Thank you, Nana, for joining us so far. And thank you for this awareness. It's been an amazing time here. I think I've read most of the comments that are here. And please, if you're watching the replay, feel free to drop your comments. Feel free to drop your questions. It's been an amazing 3 days, and I want to thank you, everyone, for being here. Now, we will in the future, I'm sure we will talk more and more about relationships and more about attachments and how these affect children as they grow up. So thank you, everyone. We have come to the end of our 3 days series. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for just supporting us with this webinar. And I believe that you will work as an ambassador. Go out there and spread the news of how we all need to work together to cater for children's mental health issues. All right. So I'm going to have to say my goodbyes now. If you have any questions, please keep them coming. I will keep answering them on the comment section. Thank you. I have another comment who says, oh, okay, oh, that's my mother. She says, I'm here. Thank you so much, Mommy, for joining us. And I had, well, if I may say this, I had a very good relationship with my mother. And I think and my father, and that's why I've turned out the way I am. So I want to believe I'm mentally fit, and I'm just able to go about my life. So please, everyone, thank you for being here. Thank you, Bukola. Thank you, Uyime, for being here with us. Thank you, Nana. Thank you, Kanchana. Thank you, Tosin. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Miss. Asima, you're here. It's great to have you here. Thank you for watching, and it's going to be goodbye for now until we meet again in the next webinar. Thank you, and bye.